Yes, guys, you know what time it is. It's your boy David at the Irish Head, Ireland's number one Spurs fan, bringing you the preview and everything else you need to know um, for the Premier League clash, Palace v Tottenham Hotspurs. Bringing you a very, very special guest today. He's one of your favourites. He's your transfer guru. He's Ireland's biggest Spurs YouTuber. And he's also your man for everything you need to know about tactics and analysis. Matty Hayes, how are you keeping?
Oh, good, David. Thanks very much for the intro. Appreciate it. Happy to be here.
No problem at all. And recently just got to 4K as well. A big well done. Yeah, you deserve it.
Thanks very much. Yeah, it was a nice milestone to hit.
Yeah, it is. It is. And I'm so happy people are throwing their support behind you because, like I said, you do deserve it and you put out great content. So, look, you know a lot about this guy, so make sure you get over to his channel and like his videos and subscribe. Also, he has memberships there if that's something you're interested in with a few special perks. Get over and check them out as well. But before we get into the game, also, if you like the content you're seeing from my channel, the debates, the preview shows, pre-match shows, stuff like that, make sure you like my videos and subscribe to my channel as well. We're on a big push for 500 for Christmas, so if you could help me reach that target, I'd be greatly appreciated. Now, look, getting into the game, the game is on Sunday. We're away at Selhurst Park against Palace. Kickoff is at 2:15, and it's on Sky Sports main event for anyone that wants to watch it. So, look, we'll start with a bit of team news for Tottenham. I don't think there's any major injury concerns. Lamela is one that'll probably face a late fitness test, maybe. But do you think if he passes, do you think he'll start, or do you think he'll just be on the bench?
I think it'll be a game where it would be good to see him start, but I'm not sure if it would be the smartest thing to throw him straight back into the first team because we know he's had a lot of problems with recurring injuries in the past, and I don't think it's worth risking making that one worse. But he could be a good player for us to have on the bench to bring on for the last 25, 30 minutes, whether we're in search of a goal or whether we're trying to hold on to a lead, whatever it is. He's definitely a good player to have out there, but I'd be surprised if we did see him from the first minute.
Yeah, I'd be very surprised as well. But for me, if he is 100% fit for the game, he starts because there is no other player that has really nailed down the right-hand side position. So for me, if he is fit, I would like to see him start. But also, like you said, he's a great player to have coming off the bench. So look, that's all your team news really for Tottenham concerning injuries and stuff like that. We're kind of blessed at the minute. We're in a good position that we haven't been in over the last few years with basically a lack of injuries and stuff. So we're lucky. We have all our key players there ready to pick from. Moving on to the Palace team news. I know they're without Connor Wickham, Martin Kelly, Wayne Hennessy, and Nathan Ferguson. They're all out injured. Milivojevic is a player that came on against West Brom. He's only played 3 times this season. For me, which is strange, I think it's more to do with his age than anything, because he is probably their best midfielder. So you probably will see him start. But look, the players they're missing, they're not really any of the players I know, really, are they?
No, not really. I don't think that they'd be too concerned about any of those. I mean, Nathan Ferguson is a decent player. I think they brought him in over the summer. But again, he wouldn't be anything too serious. You know, Wayne Hennessy, second choice keeper to Vicente Guaita. Yeah. Connor Wickham, I don't think ever gets in that team. And similarly with Martin Kelly, he's a good player, but he wouldn't be a great concern for them.
Yeah, so look, Palace have a lot of their big dogs to pick from. A lot of their main players, Wilfred Zaha will be out there, Eze Benteke. So look, it's 2 teams that really have a fully fit starting 11, their best 11 to go. So it makes for a great game. Now, just for a few stats for the game, really, is Tottenham have actually kept 8 clean sheets in the last 10 games against Crystal Palace in the Premier League. And we've also won 9 out of the last 10 games against Palace in the Premier League. That's a great stat, isn't it, Matt?
It is, yeah. It's a fantastic record. You know, I think we traditionally, well, I suppose in the last 6-7 years, have had a decent record in London derbies, and Palace are definitely a team that we do well against. They haven't beaten us in the Premier League since, I think, of January 2015. And in that run that you say, 9 wins out of the last 10, we've had 6 1-0 victories against them. There were 5 in a row between August 2016 and November 2018. So look, it's not a fixture that I suppose we've dominated in terms of going out and beating them 3-4, 5-0. But it's one where we typically do get the win. There was a 1-4-0 win in there last season. But look, it doesn't matter what the score is. If you beat them 1-0, 4-0, 10-0, whatever it is, as long as we come out of there with the 3 points. And typically, we do find that easy against Palace.
Yeah, look, like I said, we do tend to win these games. They are very close affairs. So, look, no one's expecting us to beat them big, but a win is all that matters at the end of the day. We're 10 games unbeaten. We're on a 10-game unbeaten streak. Hopefully against Palace, we can make it 11. We've 24 points out of 30 this season, and Kane has 20 goals and 11 assists in 29 Premier League games under Jose Mourinho. So look, everything is pointing positive going into this game against Palace, and it is a game. Look, we should be winning because, as we say, we want to stay on top of the league and we want to keep the momentum going into the Liverpool game. And Palace, they're 11th in the Premier League at the minute after the big win against West Brom, 5-1, and that was a great win for them. So they are going to be confident going into the game. So it is going to make for a real good watch, in my opinion. But look, how do you think we're going to approach the game? Do you think we're going to sit back and keep it tight for the first half because we're away, and then maybe go for it in the second half? Because for me, look, there's no real incentive for them to go and win this game. A draw is great for them. So, and Roy Hodgson's teams are very good defensively as well. So the first half, it could be just a case of the two teams sussing each other out and maybe trying something different in the second half. What do you think, and how do you think we're going to approach it?
I think it's going to be really interesting because, of course, in the last 3 games, we've gotten results that we wanted, but they were against very different teams, against 3 of the best teams in the league. Arsenal, I suppose, in terms of quality, they probably are up there, but just haven't performed well this season. It's going to be a very different ball game against Crystal Palace. I think, as you say, they're not going to try and win the game. I was really, really impressed with them against West Brom last week. Now, I know they were playing against the 10 men of West Brom after Pereira's red card, but they looked really good on the front foot. They were extremely clinical in that second half. Wilfried Zaha has a superb game. He's having a superb season, scored 7 goals in the league already. Christian Benteke scoring twice, which he hasn't done in a while. He hasn't scored for them in a really long time. So it's a good confidence booster for him scoring twice. I think Eberechi Eze has had a fantastic start to life in the Premier League for them. He's one of the most fouled players in the league this season. So it's not going to be an easy game. I don't think anyone is expecting it to be an easy game. And I would be surprised if we went out and tried to take the game to Palace from the first minute. As you said, I think early on in the game, it could be both teams trying to figure each other out. And look, I think it could be a similar approach to what we did at Turf Moor when we beat Burnley 1-0, where we kind of, we're not parking the bus exactly, but we are kind of being a bit cautious because they do have the pace there with the likes of Zaha and Eze. If we do play a high line, they can easily catch us out. I think the game could be won and lost in the midfield. And looking at Palace's midfield, it's like James McCarthy, Luka Milivojevic. If you said they're not exactly physical players, and that's I think is an area of the pitch where we can kind of control. Cheku Kouyaté has traditionally been that destroyer in the middle of the park for them, but he's been kind of adapted to be a centre back in recent months. I think midfield in there could really be a big part for us. And if we do play like we did against Burnley, it was Ndombele who changed that game, so potentially he could be a very important player for us in this one. But in terms of our approach, I think it's going to be really cautious. It's not going to be parking the bus like we did against City, Arsenal, Chelsea. It's going to be a bit more. We're going to try get in the front foot a bit more because we do have the ability to break down that Palace defence. It's not the strongest in the world. Yeah. Even you were mentioning Kane there. Kane has 27 goal contributions in 18 games this season, which is already one more than he had in the entire of last season in 34 games. So he's having a season of his life, which I think we find ourselves doing every year. But he's gone on to that next level. So the likes of Kane, Son, and Ndombele, I don't think Palace will be able to handle them. So whatever way we approach the game, I do think we will have a bit too much for them. But I think it will be cautious at first, and then slowly, kind of as we grow into the game, trying to find those spaces in between the lines and trying to catch them out.
Yeah, look, Jose is not a stupid manager. I really can't see us going at them early and trying to get a fast start because he will be well aware of Zaha going in behind. Townsend willing to get in behind, Eze, players like that, and they can also go long off Benteke and get Zaha or that in behind for a flick on as well. So I think it will be naive if we do try and go at these early. I really do, because the last thing we want is to go a goal down. Because as we know, they're very tight affairs, and it'd be a disaster to go a goal down. But look, for me, they're going to set up. I think they usually play a 4-2-3-1. Formation, like you said, with Milivojevic and McCarthy in the midfield. Our 3 in midfield should eat them. I think, Højbjerg, the likes of Højbjerg, Sissoko, and Ndombele, they should really eat them alive. They're not going to be able to cope with these guys. These are going to be too good for them. And as well, like you said, their defence isn't the greatest. They tried to turn Kouyaté into a centre back, in beside Cahill. Look, for me, Cahill's best days are way beyond them. So, look, that's definitely an area that Harry Kane can exploit. And he should be looking to dominate these two, really. As well, a right back, I think you'll probably see Nathaniel Klein for them. Again, a player, his best days are way beyond them. Sonny should really be ripping him a new one. And I think you see more of the same from Son. What you see time and time again, cutting in, taking a shot, or making that run off on the inside of the right back in behind. And look, left back as well, Van Aanholt. We know he likes to get forward. So that is also another area. If whoever plays on the right, if potentially they could stay a bit higher up the field, knowing that he will go forward and the space will be there to exploit. But look, how do you think Palace will approach this game against us?
It's going to be interesting because, as you say, Roy Hodgson, he's an intelligent manager. He knows, if he goes out to try and take the game to Spurs, he knows he's going to be eaten on the counter attack. I suppose my only hope would be that Palace have kind of a false sense of confidence after their performance against West Brom. It's the most goals they ever scored in an away Premier League game. They've had a decent start to the season. They've been playing well, perhaps not got some of the results they felt they would have deserved. But I don't think they'll be too free-flowing in this game. I think they could be similar to us in being a bit cautious, but also leaving the door open to get forward when the opportunity does arise. As you say, Van Aanholt getting forward from the left. I think Sissoko, again, as he has been in recent weeks, could be crucial in kind of counteracting the attack down those wide areas. If it is going to be Bergwijn or Lucas, I don't think it'll be Gareth Bale starting this one. If it is going to be Bergwijn or Lucas, so they can really exploit that space in behind. And as you say, Gary Cahill, not a lot of pace at the back at all. So if we can find space for our quick players out in those wide areas, I think we can really hurt Palace on the counter, which of course we can do to every team. But I think they'll be a bit cautious. They may try and bulk up midfield, so that 4-2-3-1 maybe out of possession could become a 4-5-1 and just try and create a block in front of the defence. But I think it'll be a similar approach to Spurs from them, to be honest.
Yeah, I fully agree with you. Look, and basically just the weaknesses that we can exploit. We've talked about that, the midfield, the centre backs, getting in behind Van Aanholt, like you said, getting Sissoko to cover across. Which, if he does do that and he continues to do that, means we can probably. Me personally, I think it will be Bergwijn on the right, and I think we can leave him a bit higher up the field, a bit closer to Kane, to exploit going in behind. Because as we know, Gary Cahill doesn't have the legs. So if you're in behind that defence, you're in on goal. It's as simple as that. Same as Nathaniel Klein. Look, he's not the greatest of right backs. His best days are way beyond him. So again, he's going to have a very, very difficult game against Sonny. What would be the key battles for you to be looking out for?
I think the middle of the park, as I've already mentioned, I think is one where you could definitely get the upper hand in that game. I think Benteke, after hitting that bit of form, it's been a while since we've kind of come up against a big kind of troublesome striker who, he just makes the defenders think every second of the game because the ball can be lobbed up to him at any second, and you'd have to think if it is going to be an aerial battle between him and Oliver Dyer, I think you would have to give Benteke the edge. So I think that would be a different challenge for a defence to try and contend with. So that's definitely one to keep an eye on. Wilfried Zaha as well. Whatever fullback he comes up against is in for a difficult game. So if he's playing down the left, whether it's Aurier or Doherty right back for us, I think it'll be an interesting one to keep an eye on as well. And of course, Heung-min Son, whoever he comes up against, will definitely be in for a few problems.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. Whoever Zaha comes up against, they're going to have to be on their game. Look, whether it's Aurier or Reguilon, to be honest with you, I'd be confident that both of them are in great form. They both have the pace to deal with him as well. So hopefully it's a game where we can just frustrate the guy. Like you said, Benteke up against Alderweireld and Dyer. Look, that's going to be a good test for them. A nice, strong physical forward. It's going to be a great test for Eric Dyer to see how he handles it. And that's one I'd be very interested to watch out for. Because, look, he's used to coming up against these quick forwards that are looking to get in behind him. So having someone that is just going to go up man for man against him, it's going to be a very good battle, in my opinion. Eze is another player for me I think we really do have to look out for. He's a player, he just kind of tends to find himself in the spaces. He picks up the ball, he drives forward. As you said, I think he's one of the most, if not the most foul player in the Premier League as of now. And he's a very good player. He's another player, for me, he looks a bit same mould as Wilfried Zaha. He's very clever on the ball. He's very good on the ball. He's very quick. So, but look, I have faith in Højbjerg. Højbjerg will marshal him nicely. And hopefully he can frustrate him.
Yeah, I think Eze is a big concern for us, though, because of that stat that he is one of the most foul players in the league this season. Earlier on in the year, in this season, it was something that cost us a lot, giving away stupid fouls around the area. You know,
Yeah.
Everton got their winner against us. Newcastle got their penalty from there. West Ham had a goal from there. So I think that could be a big concern if Eze does try and attract a few fouls. Because I know Zaha will probably do the same in and around the penalty area. It's those crosses into the box from set pieces that could hurt us. Because we're talking at one end and how Gary Cahill isn't good defensively, but he's a real threat in the opposition area from corners, as is Benteke and Cheku Kiata as well. So that could definitely be something where Palace could hurt us, and it's a thing to keep an eye out for.
And as well, if Townsend plays, look, we know the guy has a shot on him, and he seems to be hitting a good patch of form for Palace over the last year or two. So he's another guy we kind of need to look out for. Anytime he cuts inside to try and shoot, we need to close him down early. But apart from that, I really do think we should be beating them. Their defence, like, look, we've said it, they're over the hill. Harry Kane really should be annihilating them tomorrow. And I look, or on Sunday. And look, I really do think we will win this game. So look, yeah, there you have it. There's what me and Matty think how the game's going to unfold. The key areas, the weaknesses we can exploit, the danger men we need to look out for. So hopefully we covered everything you need to know for this game. So there's the match preview. Thanks very much for tuning in. Thank you very much, Matty, for giving your time up to doing this. And I know the Harris Army out there would appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me, David. I appreciate it. Always love coming on here and having Spurs chats with you.
Thank you very much. And also, don't forget to like and subscribe. And roll on Palace. In Jose we trust. And come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.